great is the mystery of faith. It's a line from the liturgy of our Sunday morning service just before we take Holy Communion. As we are gathered in together to receive the bread and the wine, we're reminded of the mystery of our faith. We're reminded of the mystery that was hinted at in the Old Testament, but was revealed to us in the New Testament. It was revealed to us in the person of Jesus Christ and all he did for us. But this is a mystery that, although we wrestle with and we inhabit now in the current life, it's very hard for us to really absorb everything that went on. But now is the time to really go over that Easter story again and see how Jesus related to his disciples and related to the people that he loved most dearly. And it is a great mystery. But there were things going on at that time which we'll never understand. When Mary Magdalene went to find his body on that first day, and she met two angels who were waiting there, and she was a bit taken aback, but the angels spoke to her and told her that Lord Jesus Christ had risen. And she took this message back to the disciples, and the disciples accepted her in and understood the message. So in many ways, Mary was the apostle to the apostles. She was the first one to receive the good news and take it back. And the disciples accepted it and used this information to spark all sorts of interesting chats and conversations and musings as to what was going on. But they had hope. For the first time, they had hope. And then when Jesus appeared to them later on in a locked room, he just came through into that room, and they were completely scared and worried. And how did this happen? And who is this? And what's going on? And the first thing Jesus says is, "Do not be afraid. I'm not a ghost. It's me. And I'm hungry and I'd like some food. What have you got to eat?" And he eats some fish with them. So the disciples were aware that at that time there were ghosts, there were angels, and there was also the resurrected body, which they didn't recognize and they couldn't quite see until the time that Jesus chose to reveal it to them. Now, when Mary went to the tomb and she was looking for Jesus's body, and she was distracted by a conversation with the gardener outside. And the gardener engaged her in conversation, but she wasn't worried or concerned. She didn't hide herself or look fearful when she was having this conversation. And then all of a sudden, the gardener decided to reveal himself to her as Jesus Christ. And he did that by stating her name. He said to her, "Mary." And as he said her name, Mary, her eyes were opened and she realized it was him. And she was excited. And that revelation came. But it only came when Jesus decided that that was the moment to reveal himself to her. And the same thing happened on the road to Emmaus, when the two disciples were again traumatized and just making their way back home and just trying to regale everything that had gone on over the past few days. And Jesus came alongside them and said, what's troubling you? What's the problem? And they told him the story, and he reprimanded them. He had a go at them because of their wayward thinking. But they didn't take offence at this, and they didn't show any concern about the conversation. They just engaged with him and then even invited him in for dinner later on. And it wasn't until that moment that Jesus decided to reveal himself to them that they saw it was him. And he did that by breaking bread. And as soon as he broke bread, their eyes were opened and they realised it was him. And as soon as they realised it was him, he disappeared. But he chose the moment to reveal himself. And he does with us as well. He chooses the moment to reveal that time where he is calling our name, where he is there for us. These are things which are hard to understand, and this is part of the great mystery that we wrestle with. This is part of our great mystery of faith. So how do we try and reflect on that now with all that we're going through? Well, one of the ways is to look at Jesus' disciples, look at the people who were with him. And one of his closest friends was Peter, and Peter went through the most amazing transformation from being a simple fisherman to being a world-leading firebrand, to be a revolutionary, to someone who completely transformed his life. Peter went through all sorts of trauma. Peter saw his best friend, Jesus. He saw him tortured, he saw him crucified, he saw him die a painful death. And then at that time, Peter decided that was enough. I'm running away. I'm going back to fishing. I can't do this. This is terrible. This is frightening. But it's only when Jesus came back and specifically spoke to Peter, specifically called him, that Peter realised that this is the life that I've chosen. I'm putting fishing on the back burner. I'm not a fisherman anymore. I'm now a disciple, I'm now an apostle, and I'm taking the good news out there. So there is real depth and purpose to Peter's life as he went from merely boating in life to truly fishing in life. Jesus taught him how to catch fish if he wanted to catch fish, but if you really want a depth of life, you've got to know me, you've got to trust me, and you've got to love me. And that's exactly what Peter did. He decided that despite the fact his life was going to end badly, that this is the life for me, because I know that what goes on will be so much better. It will be so much richer. There is so much more ahead. And this is a time for us at the moment to really wrestle with the great mystery of our faith. Although it's unlikely we'll be called to sacrifice anything that great, we can take the time to wrestle with this great mystery of understanding Jesus Christ. He came to this world as a man. He performed the miracles as a man, not as a God. The things he said as a man. He engaged with us as a normal human being. And he took us into this spiritual battle. He took us into this battlefield where we understand quite fully that Satan is trying to disrupt our world. He's trying to disrupt us. He's trying to screw everything round so that it makes sense from a completely different angle. But Jesus Christ gave us the keys to understanding the glory of God and what lies ahead. And some of the greatest keys we have is the gift of prayer. The gift of being with God through prayer. Every step of the day, talking with him. So this is a time right now for wrestling with the mystery of faith. This is a time for prayer. This is a time for drawing close at every opportunity and understanding that while there is so much we will never understand, we have the keys. Jesus has given us the keys, and the keys for us right now are the keys of prayer. So I will leave that with you until next time. Thank you.